Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of Deadhorses and DDTs. It's going to be a super short one. Nothing good happened, so.
Nothing happened this week. Famous words from had to be last episode. I think I remember you saying something like, "Nothing this big is going to happen every week."
Yeah.
And now here's the fun part of the show where like things would go all wavy, and then we flash back to you saying that a couple weeks ago.
Nothing this big is going to happen every 4 weeks.
Nothing this big is going to happen. Nothing this big is going to happen. Nothing this big is going to happen.
Well, good thing nothing did happen. Anyway, I'm Cody White. I'm sitting here with Josh Weber. We're going to talk. We're going to talk about, the nothing events of All Out and some Dynamites, some Rampages, the 10 hours of wrestling Josh had to watch in 2 days.
Yeah, so quick recap on my Labor Day, with the week leading up into my Labor Day weekend and the last couple days that have led us up to this Wednesday night where we're recording. I was a little busy, had some stuff going on, didn't get a chance to watch any wrestling live, so over the past couple days, I have watched Dynamite leading up to All Out. I have watched Rampage leading up to All Out. And over the last couple days, I have tried to squeeze in 4 hours of All Out. On top of watching Dynamite tonight, I have watched 9 hours of wrestling in the past, 2.5 days. So.
Worth it.
Oh, it's been... I got to be honest with you, my attention span is growing short. I had a hard time just tuning into Dynamite tonight, but that's okay. I'm here. I got my notes to remind me what we need to talk about. I'd like to propose, if you're okay with it. Obviously, All Out is where we're going to spend a majority of our time. We have a lot to cover in this episode. But I think we would be remiss to not talk about Dynamite and Rampage leading up to it, because they were 2 really good shows leading up to the pay-per-view. Then we'll hit the pay-per-view. We'll hit a little bit of Dynamite tonight, and we'll wrap it. So 16, 17 minutes tops.
Should be no more than 18. What do you got on the notes first for Dynamite?
Cody and I were just comparing our note-taking before we started recording, and mine is about 12 pages long, and his you don't even have to scroll through. But well, actually, I have. So we have Rampage after we recorded our last episode. Lucha Brothers versus Jurassic Express. That's good, of course. I wrote that Lucha Brothers might be my favorite modern tag team.
Yeah.
So it was super fun to watch them get into the pay-per-view and do what they did, but more on that later. What else did we have? Eddie and Miro had a great just kind of build up for their match. Eddie was starting to say something to the mic, and he's like, you know what? Never mind. And he just ran into the ring, and they started going at it, which was not the last time we would see that before the pay-per-view. Then we got Ty Conti versus the Bunny, which was an alliance upcoming for the Battle Royale. Bunny wins with the Nux again. Penelope Ford interfered, and we know they were conspiring for the Women's Casino Battle Royale. And then the last match of that night, we had Omega and Cutler versus Christian and Frankie Kazarian. Mark Henry threw Don Callis off a commentary, which was great. Brandon Cutler hit a dab elbow drop that I had to make sure to make a note of, because that was pretty great.
It was so good.
All it really was just kind of a pay-per-view hype match to build up the Omega and Christian thing, and it did it. It did it well. It was good. It was everything it needed to be. I'm here for it.
I love Cutler more than I should. So when he got cocky there and just started going off with these funky ass moves.
Stupid ass shit in his stupid ass zebra tracksuit. Yeah, I'm with you. It was great.
It was so good.
And then now we get into where I think the shows got really good. Dynamite on Wednesday before All Out was, I want to say, one of the best Dynamites of the last couple months. Everything that happened was great. It didn't feel like a normal, the build up before the pay-per-view is just sometimes that. It's just a bunch of promos and the guys who are fighting going at it while talking shit in the ring. And it wasn't that. It was that, but it added more things. It did it well. We started with Santana and Ortiz versus FTR, the little grudge match there.
Yeah, which was a great match.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see more out of Santana and Ortiz, which it seems like they're going to get. They just had their little promo tonight about going after the division. So
yeah, I liked that.
I'm excited for them. We've talked about that too, is branching out from the Inner Circle and doing more tag team. And now the tag team is a thing, and we'll get more into tag team later. But just Santana and Ortiz were just so good.
They got a great look. They hit that senton into the barricade.
Yeah.
Off of I can't remember who hit it. It was off of one of their backs, like springboarded them through. It was great. And they hit a cool dual cutter, spear into the surprise bin, big combo at the end to win it. It was good way to start off. It was what that grudge match needed to be. They get the win, and now we're seeing them make a run at some other guys in the tag team spot. It's cool.
Hope so. Looking forward to more tag team, that's for sure.
After that first tag match, Punk came out and I think was cutting a promo or something, and Garcia and 2.0 came out and came after him. And then Darby and Sting come out to kind of interrupt it, like, hey, not your fight to fight, Punk and Darby, not Punk and whoever else. Mm-hmm. And they hit that sweet triple finisher. Darby hits a coffin drop, Sting hits a scorpion death drop, and Punk hits the GTS, all each on one of those guys right in the same kind of time frame there. That was cool. And then Sting goes to say something, and Punk goes, hang on a second, and throws one of the guys from 2.0 out of the ring before he talks. That was just a cool little moment.
That, and then just the respect coming from Sting, saying he's not going to be up there for the match, was incredible, which I never expect out of Darby or Sting an interference.
Right.
But just not having him there to even consider it was really cool.
Not there to hype him up. Yeah, just leave it, saying, hey, this kid, he doesn't need me. He can stand on his own. And that,
Yeah, that was cool. And, I love Darby Allin and Daniel Garcia. That whole feud, whatever that's going on, whatever they do with that, I'm excited for.
I wrote that up down below. I love this rivalry that they've built with Garcia and 2.0, like immediately showing up. They called out Mox and Kingston and Darby, and we're just kind of keeping it going. And they kind of keep sticking their noses into shit, but it's in a good way. I like it. It's exciting to watch. I'm excited to see where it goes. Garcia is obviously getting a big push. He's main evented 2 rampages now.
Yep.
We had Hobbs versus Brian Cage, which honestly, we don't have to talk about that. I'm just going to edit this out later. I do not care about this rivalry at all. Sick of the hit with the belt ending the match. We've been doing this for months. The big men are entertaining, though. Like, if you're going to give me 2 of those guys, Hobbs and Cage is who I want to see at least.
I like both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I just am so sick, like you just said, so sick of this inner fighting. Just, it's not even inner fighting anymore, but that's where it all started weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's just, come on, I'm sick of it. Which even they said tonight, it was like, I'm sick of this. They both said that.
Yeah.
Let's just finish it. One last match, fine, whatever. If you have to do it, fine. But just let them move on.
Yeah. Let's get those guys into new storylines, doing something new. I'm all in on that. Uncle Paul had a good moment. Something I don't even have the details exactly written down, but either he was cutting a promo or QT was, and he came out to talk about it. Everybody kind of held Paul White in the corner, and he shoots them all backwards like a fucking action movie. That was so cool. Slapped Aaron Solo out of the air like he was a goddamn fly. He just flew at him and he knocked him down. And then Gun Club comes out to save him, and then
Billy. That bastard.
Billy turns on him with the chair, which I kind of thought, you can only fit so much in 1 week, but I want to hear more about that. Like, what's going on? What provoked that? What's happening? You know what I mean? Because QT obviously wasn't expecting it. It's not like he set it up, because he watched them walk down the ramp and he was like, okay.
Yeah, right. He was out, and then he came back in to do the diamond cutter and already knocked out Uncle Paul. Rude.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that to my family. Damn it.
Coming for you.
I'm coming for you, QT. Marshall.
The next promo we had was when Shivani teased that Britt Baker had tweeted about a big free agent signing, which we didn't talk about in the moment because I wasn't watching when you were, but we both thought like, oh, Adam Cole, because we kind of had talked about, how his contract had come up. And then she announces I even said it to my wife because I forced her to watch all this wrestling with me over the past couple of days. And I'm like, oh, free agent signing. I bet it's Adam Cole. I'm like, that's her husband, blah, blah, blah. And then she comes out and just says that it's her. And you're like, oh, okay, good little tease. But then lo and behold, which we're going to get to, Adam Cole shows up at the end of All Out. So
he does? I just told all of our listeners that nothing happened at All Out.
Nothing big.
Oh,
you said nothing big.
Oh, that's true. Adam Cole's nothing. He's small guy.
Who cares about Adam Cole, baby?
Is that a thing? Is that like?
No, I just came up with that.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Yeah.
You should pitch it.
I think I will. Let me get Tony Khan
Yeah,
on the phone real quick.
But yeah, the whole Britt Baker thing was funny. I enjoyed it. I didn't think, honestly, Adam Cole, when she was saying that, I didn't think anything. It was kind of wonder what this is. Thinking she's adding to her already growing entourage, hopefully to replace Rebel, so they can have more 3-way matches without her.
Good 3-way matches, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. What happened then? That was Chris Statlander. Oh, that was the announcement of the Chris Statlander versus Rebel and
yeah, the handicap match.
Handicap match.
Yep, that is exactly when that happened on Rampage. Correct.
Which I don't know. You want to just get into that? That was a match.
Only thing I think we got to cover before we get to that Rampage was that 8-man tag at the end of Dynamite, the Elite versus Lucha Brothers and Jurassic Express, which was a fine match. It's 8-man tag. It's kind of chaos. It's what you expect. But at the end, where Callis allegedly stole the keys to the cage controls and brought the cage down, and they kind of trapped everyone in there. Guys were trying to climb the cage, and they're smacking them off the side with kendo sticks or like cutlers, spraying them with the shit. It felt like everybody was coming out. I think Dante Martin was out there. My brain says I saw Orange Cassidy. I mean, just Orange a bunch Cassidy, of guys. So it felt like kind of of course, Kazarian. Felt like a revolt on the Elite, kind of like everybody's like, holy fuck, we are done with your shit, which I was hoping would lead into them losing all of their gold at the pay-per-view, which happened, 50% if you don't count the Good Brothers and their Impact Tag Championships. But then, now we're going to get into
Rampage,
which we started it with my boy Malachi Black versus Lee Johnson, which I think ended up being a really good match.
That was a phenomenal match. That was 100% what I expected from that match.
Mm-hmm.
Because Lee is just phenomenal, and obviously Malachi Black is just Malachi Black. Just you don't know what to expect, what's going to happen. Everything about that match was just perfect. You had Malachi Black beating the shit out of him. You had some revolt, some back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And then just something that we hadn't seen from Malachi Black, because he hasn't had to go there, is trying to force the disqualification.
Yeah.
Giving him the chair, saying, go ahead, take your shot.
Hit me, and then he hits him with the black mass or whatever and ends it because...
his ass out.
The disgusting kick, by the way, that kick to the face. I mean, it's always nasty, but that one was like... Ugh.
That one was bad. Yeah, that one was like, oh... I half expected him to hit the chair into him. I was like, I'm not ready for this. This is going to be disgusting.
That would have been good.
Then from that, obviously, we got the announcement for the match tonight. We were all so excited for.
Yeah, as long as we're doing flashbacks, we flashbacked to you saying nothing this big is going to happen every week. Let's flash back to you saying, who are you going to have him fight, Dustin Rhodes?
And unfortunately, that was correct.
Yeah,
which we'll get to. But
yeah, we'll get to that. But it didn't. I'm actually not disappointed with it.
Yeah, it was a good match.
I wrote down what's next for Black, and we can theorize on that a minute if you want. I mean, I've said I want him to go after Miro and the TNT, which is still on the table. I think that's where I'd like to see him go next. But we don't know where he's going next because right now he's still fighting the Nightmare Family all the way through their big show in Queens up on the 22nd is Cody's big return. He's going to fight Cody at the Arthur Ashe Arena or whatever. They just announced that tonight.
Yeah, which only leaves 1 week, so I bet that probably is his next match. I don't see them giving him another match before that.
He'll cut a promo on Cody that you'll see next week and build that up, and then I guess we'll see where that goes.
Cody will probably come out for a promo too, and do that. That's going to be a big show. That's the biggest show as far as ticket sales go yet, I believe.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, and tickets are still available. So that's gonna be cool. That'll just be a neat thing to see.
And it seems like Santana and Ortiz versus Lucha Bros there. is a rumored match. So hopefully that happens because I'd love that.
Hell yeah, that would be cool. I haven't seen that rumor yet.
Yeah, Santana and Ortiz, that's their hometown. So
Oh yeah, so they'll get a good little hometown showing. Sure. Yeah, that'll be cool. Who else? They keep talking about somebody else's is I mean Taz is from that area, but so we'll get some Team
Kingston.
Taz shit probably. Kingston, right. Hey, perfect segue. Kingston had a great moment, great line against Miro, kind of hyping up their match that Friday night on Rampage. And it ended up being on his shirt at All Out that I love. And it was just Redeemer, redeem these nuts. And it was so fucking good.
I love it.
So good.
I died laughing.
I was cracking up. That was the best. And then they just start going at it again, just hyping up that match. Got me super excited for it.
Yeah, that was one of the matches at All Out that I was like, I love Kingston. I want him to win. But is that really pay-per-view material, or can we do that on a Rampage?
Yep.
That was kind of my thoughts on it. And that build up to it. You had Wednesday night, they did a little build up, and then Friday they did more build up, and it was just like Kingston got in the ring and just beat the piss out of him.
It's two great personalities, the way they clash. Miro's got this kind of like crazy, this new thing, the thing he says at the end of all of them, this is the word of the Redeemer. Again, I don't like him, but I love some of the shit that he does. Like that is so this is the wood of the Redeemer or whatever he says. That was fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, but you know what I'm getting at.
Bulgarian, Czechoslovakian, whatever.
Whatever, man.
Oh man. I like Miro. I just don't like what they've been doing with Miro, if that makes sense. So he's like this match, like this little promo that they did and just getting the shit beat out of him was so refreshing and just made me like him so much more. What else do you say? But redeem these nuts. I gotta get that shirt.
I know, I want one. It's fucking hilarious. After that, we got the handicap match, Statlander versus Rebel and Jamie Hayter, which we don't really have to talk about. I put two notes. I put, Dear God, Rebel is bad, which we talked about tonight while we were watching Dynamite. And it was really just to hype up Statlander ahead of the pay-per-view. Because, she's big, she's strong, like, she's exciting to watch. I mean, she has some cool shit that she does, some good moves. I like her. It was exactly that. It was just made to make her look good and make her look like a real challenger against Britt Baker for the pay-per-view, which it accomplished well. I don't think there's much else you have to say about it. She hit that cool double move. I think she had one of them like on her shoulders and the other one caught in a crossbody and slammed them both forward. That was a great move.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's not much else to say. It was a good match, but like did what it was designed for. It got me a little more hyped for Chris Statlander versus Britt Baker, and that was that. Rebel, I want to like her because I liked her like with the crutch and being a nuisance. Like I enjoyed that, but her wrestling was just, and it's got to be by design. Like you can't be that bad not by design, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's intentionally clumsy looking. I mean, it's not unlike Brandon Cutler teaming up with Kenny Omega the other night. That's just play the goony kind of gimmicky role you're supposed to play.
Yeah, but it just doesn't do it for me like Cutler does.
Yeah, no, I agree. Rebel ain't hitting no dab into an elbow drop. I'll give you that. And then the big one, we got Darby versus Garcia to main event that Rampage with Punk on commentary. I love Punk stage diving into the crowd, even if he like missed this one pretty horribly. It's just such a fun little thing that he's doing.
He's gonna get hurt.
And then that asshole offers him a beer. I'm sure you caught that. That was all over social media. He looks at him like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Because no. I have one note for that match.
Okay.
It says, "Holy shit."
Yeah. That says it all.
Of everything that we're going to talk about tonight, that was my favorite match.
Really? Even pay-per-view and everything?
Over pay-per-view. And I loved, and we'll get to it, I loved this pay-per-view. Matches, announcements, everything was just perfect. And Darby Allin versus Daniel Garcia was just like over everything for me.
It was wild. Garcia had that. He like hit him with an Irish whip on the outside and sent him flying. Or no, maybe was he up against the timekeeper's table and he moved? All I have is Darby misses into the timekeeper's table. So yeah, if I remember right, Garcia was there and he moved and Darby goes flying. I mean, Darby's an animal, dude. We've talked about it. We say this, so I feel like we say a lot of the same shit every week. It's like, we've talked about it, but Darby Allin is so fucking good. But Darby Allin is so fucking good, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what else are you supposed to say about the guy? Like, he's just phenomenal. He keeps putting on these great matches with Sting, without Sting, with Moxley, without Moxley. Like, just everything the kid has done has been golden. In this match, just these two are similar in size. They're similar in skill. They've had that leading up to this match. It just felt like a pay-per-view match to me, and it was just unbelievable. Just an unbelievable good match. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Like I said, one note, holy shit.
I thought Punk made a great point. Like, he said, we've seen Garcia and 2.0 so much in the past few weeks. He's like, if people don't know your name, make them remember your name, is what he said.
Yeah.
And find me one AEW fan that doesn't know who Daniel Garcia and therefore 2.0 are right now. I mean, like I said, we said he's main evented Rampage twice, and he's looked good every time he does it. He got this close to getting Moxley and got countered off that sharpshooter into the choke. It took a crazy pin by Darby to win this match. Like, it was...
Yep.
I'm excited to see where Daniel Garcia goes from here, because I'm loving this ride and this rivalry that they've got him on right now. This match was unreal. I totally agree with you. Holy shit.
Let's get him some wins, you know? Like, obviously, you can't have a win against Mox. You can't have a win against Darby. Like, leading into a pay-per-view where both of them have matches.
Yep.
But, like, come on. Get him some wins. Get this kid a title.
Something's coming. That's all I've got for Dynamite and Rampage, unless there's something you want to cover before we get into the what's going to be the long part of this episode.
I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
All right. Well, we started with Miro versus Kingston, which was super hyped up leading into it. Eddie came out with the Redeem D's Nuts shirt. I will say this because they talked about it when the guys were doing their walkouts, their entrances. Excalibur made a note that Miro is the most efficient, and I'm saying that with air quotes, TNT champion that there has been, or most efficient champion. It might not even been TNT because of the amount of time he's won his matches. And I'm like, fuck that stat. Eddie Kingston is the first real fucking guy that he's fought
exactly
with that belt. You don't get that title by beating people in that. Yeah, it pissed me off. I mean, I think that was probably the intention, but fuck that stat, man. I hated that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I kind of rolled my eyes at that. I rolled my eyes. I was like, all right, let's just get to the match. Excalibur, go get married or something.
Hey, friend of the pod, Excalibur. Congratulations. We will see you at the reception this weekend. I assume our invitation must have got lost, but we'll be there. Don't worry, buddy.
We'll be there. We'll crash.
We're coming.
You know, the match was good. It was good. Didn't like the outcome, obviously, with
Miro
keeping
but
it. But
I feel like I just feel like they're not ready to cut that run off just yet. I wanted Eddie to get it, but it feels like that's just got to ride a little bit longer. And Malachi Black, man, hopefully that's where it's where it's building up. I don't know.
Yeah, who's next? Like, we say that every time with Miro, but who's next?
Yeah, really, every episode of our podcast has been the same thing. It's been Darby Allin is good. Who's going to fight Miro? Somewhere in there, I throw a stab about Jade Cargill. Oh, you know what? I do have a note about her in here from the Casino Battle Royale, so we'll get to that, but that's okay.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh, I can't wait.
I wonder if it's the same.
I doubt it. Eddie, though, first person in a while to break the game over for Miro. He locks it on everybody else. Eddie got out of it. That was cool. Eddie had that 3 count after I type these notes so fast while I'm watching that like sometimes typos get in here and I don't know what I was trying to say. But I remember something happened and Eddie hit a big DDT and the ref wasn't paying attention and missed the 3 count. and he kicked out on 2, but it was really like a 6.5 was what it really was.
Oh.
But by the time he started counting, so that was a bummer. And then the last note I put was "fuck that win, Eddie had it," which obviously you feel the same.
You did. Yes, I do. I also I love Eddie. I don't want to see Eddie as TNT champion.
No, you don't think so?
I've decided that. I like Eddie as the challenger. Eddie the challenger is just way better than I think Eddie the champion would be.
You know, I didn't agree with you when you first said that, but I'm kind of playing it through in my head now, and I gotta say, I think I agree with you. Actually, I see where you're coming from. I don't know how Eddie would look as a champion. I'm not sure it fits his kind of underdog, blue collar, bare knuckle vibe. Sure.
I don't think I would like it, and if he won it, great, but it'd have to be short. It'd have to be a short-lived championship, which doesn't seem like is the way they're going with these. So,
they're going long runs. You think I feel like at some point here we got to have a new belt on the horizon. With all these big names coming in here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, obviously with the big names and the amount of people, I wanted to bring it up kind of with the Darby Allin versus Daniel Garcia. There's a lot of small people. I want a cruiserweight. Championship.
Yeah, okay.
Like, you got Adam Cole now. He's the same, smaller. Like, you have a lot of small dudes that could go for it, and you've got a lot of big dudes that can go with the heavyweight. Like, get a cruiserweight, get a Rampage title once Rampage moves to TBS, and it's 2 hours long or 3 hours long, whatever they do. But I would like to see 2 more belts, honestly.
I think you got enough names that you could keep that going pretty easily at this point.
My dream is a cruiserweight and a women's tag team.
Oh yeah, why isn't there a women's tag belt? I never even thought of. There will be. That's got to be.
There will be, yeah. But I just either that or let women fight for the regular tag team match. I'm all for intersex, all for it.
We're not there yet, but maybe we can just jump forward a little and circle back because that feels like a good transition. But women's tag team would be cool because it's easy to forget. I think sometimes because you see some of the same names coming through. I mean, some of the smaller names come through on Dark and Elevation and stuff. But the Casino Battle Royale, I mean, really showed AEW has so many good women wrestlers. So many good wrestlers in the women's division.
And so many that should be on TV that just aren't because of space. Like, I like to say that a Dark and Elevation could be on TV, could be on cable, and it would probably do well. Like, some of the wrestlers that come through there, one of my favorites, and Casino Battle Royale, Big Swole, she's phenomenal. I don't know how much you've watched her, probably not much, but like,
just what I catch here and there.
Just watching her from the beginning of Dark, and she seems to have a match every week. She has grown into such a good wrestler, and she was good before when she started, but now she's just so talented. And she was my pick for Battle Royale. I wanted her to get that shot, but obviously things happen. Ruby Soho's your Joker, and
which, yeah,
what are you gonna do? But she's just so talented.
Yeah, she hit that. I was trying to remember. I knew I had a note there on her. She hit that. I can't remember who she eliminated. Oh, it was Diamante or whatever her name is.
Diamante,
she kind of tried to duck as though Big Swole was going to go up top to hit her out while she was on the apron, and Swole went low and kind of it was like a shotgun drop kick or like a shoulder tackle or something, and knocked her off going low instead of high. I thought it was a high IQ move. I know she's a big time fan favorite. I see a lot of stuff posted about her, but again, not being a frequent flyer on Darker Elevation myself, I don't catch as much of her as I should. But I mean, so many cool wrestlers in that thing. Like, we talked about it while we were watching Dynamite tonight. Like, Abaddon has such a wild, crazy fucking gimmick that I want to be seeing her on the cable shows. I want to see her doing some shit.
I know you don't. I'm not. I can't. You're not a big fan of Jade Cargill, but
I'm not.
She looked good in it.
She threw Layla Hirsch like a goddamn toy. I mean,
just full
pressed her and just over the top.
Incredible. Just incredible. And I think now that they're not doing the whole Hollywood thing, they seem to kind of got away from that. She looks better. Come on. What's your note on her? I'm waiting for it.
Just said Jade Cargill tosses Layla. That was it.
Oh, mine was Jade Cargill. Nipple covering she had to use there for
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she tweeted afterwards. She goes, "Thank God for nipple covers."
Oh, she had a little wardrobe malfunction action.
No, she's so ripped that like she's just big, and
Oh.
her outfit just wouldn't cover everything because she's just so ripped. And I was just
Okay.
I'm like, how impressively huge do you have to be that you like have to go into this match being like, this outfit might not work.
Yep.
I have to take precautions. Which, good on her. Thank you. That's good. We don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, my God, you are impressive. You are an impressive human being. I love her.
Yeah, I won't say she's not. She's a good wrestler. She's powerful. She's jacked. That's obvious. It's the personality I don't like. And it's funny because, like, I like that personality on some people and others I don't. Like, I was a Conor McGregor fan when he was. I mean, that's exactly what that persona is. But I liked it on him. I didn't like it on her. I mean, that's not apples to apples, but it's not that far off. Or like MJF, another thing we talk about every week. MJF is a great fucking heel, and I love that cocky attitude. It's a little different from him. It's not quite the same as what Jade Cargill's doing, but I don't know. It's just something about the way she does it. I don't know. It's not for me. Maybe I'll come around as we start to see her on the big shows more. Who knows? But I get where you're coming from. I'm not going to discredit it. I was excited to see Hikaru Shida come out first.
Yeah,
haven't seen her in a while. I was actually legit bummed when she got eliminated. Not that I expected her to get the win because she had a title run not that long ago, but it was fun to see her back in the ring and wrestling. It's been a little bit.
I agree. She did a few dark matches and they were cool, but like nothing beats the cable shows and the pay-per-view. Like you're back on a pay-per-view. Like thank you. Like I just can't say enough good things about the women's division. Got my favorite out there.
Oh yeah, Anna Jay is back,
Anna
and we
Jay,
did talk about her last episode.
I'll tell the listeners because I told you. I think when Anna Jay came out, I let out this like yelp / screech, and my wife was like, "What the fuck was that?" And I was like, "Anna Jay's back.
She's here. You don't understand.
Here. You don't get it." The most exciting moment of my life, I think.
No, it's cool to see her back. And then this week we got her trying to restore some, for lack of a better term, order in the Dark Order, which is exactly what we expected to happen. I mean, you called that right as it happened, so that's cool. And we got to see her and one of our favorites, Bunny, go at it for most of the match. Bunny survived from the first round well into the last, and finally gets eliminated. But then Penelope Ford, one of your other favorites, I know, comes up and eliminates Anna Jay right after she eliminated Bunny. So, I mean, it was just good. The Battle Royale was exactly what you'd expect. Thunder Rosa, I thought, had it. Like, when she came out, the fans were all going, Rosa, Rosa. And I was like, man, I like the hype. It feels like she's got it. And then it got down to her and Ruby Soho. And I'm like, man, it's Rosa. Like, I don't expect them to give it to this person that just ran out, who they did, which is cool. I'm excited. Actually, we got to watch her wrestle this week. She's going to be fun. She's feisty.
Yeah, she's a good wrestler. I definitely agree with you. I wanted Big Swole, and then Big Swole got gone, and I wanted the last four to be TJ and Bunny and Penelope, because I feel like that would have been a phenomenal final four.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you got to give either Ty Conti's had just like this amazing run while Anna's been gone that I wanted to give her the title shot. I wanted her to win, get the title shot, but same thing. I can't see her as a champion. Same thing with Kingston. She's great. I don't think she's even going to get a title shot. I think she's going to be up there for title shot for maybe the women's tag team titles. If we get that.
If those are coming down the pipe. Little TJ maybe?
Yeah, little TJ. I think that's where she shows her most like feistiness. I don't know if it's just she's too playful, which hasn't been the case for the last 2 weeks, but She runs in, she waves, she does the whole thing, and I love it. I love it. But is that a championship move?
You got me thinking now. I don't know if I feel quite the same way as I do about the Kingston thing you said, but I see where you're coming from. I don't know. I like her. She hits some great move, that tie KO or that DD tie that she does. I mean, she's exciting to watch.
I agree. And if they gave it to her, I wouldn't be upset. But I don't think she has the promo material that like Britt Baker's just been the best women's champion I think I've ever seen. Not just AEW, like ever, as far as promos go. Like, she's just phenomenal.
Totally agree.
I'm going to be upset when she loses it, no matter who it is.
I was talking about that actually with my wife when I was subjecting her to all the wrestling I had to watch because we had to fill every ounce of free time with wrestling over the past few days. Britt Baker came on for a promo or something, and she was like, why do you like her? Like, 'cause she doesn't like her attitude and the cockiness. And I'm like, she's so good at it. And like the way she wrestles, like watching her is like watching, it's like an old school heel. You know what I mean? Like she hits some of those moves and just the kind of like dirty kind of tactics. I love her. She's so enjoyable. She is the best lovable heel that there is for me. I think she's exactly what I want out of a person that you love to hate to love, whatever, you know what I mean?
Which is weird because it's like what she does is the exact same thing I feel that Kenny Omega does, and I hate Kenny Omega for it. Like, I don't hate Kenny Omega. I love Kenny Omega, but you know what I mean? As far as like being a champion, I'm like, I want this reign to be over. But it's kind of the same thing. Like, they both kind of depend on there are other people to help interfere a little bit. A little less so with Britt Baker. She, stands on her own 2 feet a lot. She's phenomenal. But to say Kenny Omega's not phenomenal as well is wrong. So that's where I put it, but it's just confusing my mind. Is I'm like, why do I love one and not the other?
I totally get it. I mean, I was just talking about it with Jade Cargill. I don't like what she does, but it's not that different from what a lot of people do, you know?
Yeah.
You know one thing, all the great, talented women wrestlers in AEW's women's division that we got to see, no Julia Hart. She's fun to watch. I like to see her. Maybe is she too gimmicky for the Battle Royale?
No. She was announced for it, and then she got beat up. Don't remember who beat her up on Dark, but they beat her up, Dark? And she got replaced. I think it was, I want to say, was it Sheeta that replaced her? Somebody replaced her. Diamante actually replaced her. I remember that now. Yeah, I don't remember what exactly happened, but she did. She got injured or whatever. So she wasn't supposed to be in it.
Okay. Because I like her. I wanted to see her, and I didn't, and I was bummed about it. All right, let's circle back. Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima.
Good match.
Yeah. We like watching Mox wrestle these New Japan guys. Yeah, I didn't have a ton of notes on it, not because it wasn't a good match. It was everything I wanted it to be. When I watch Mox versus these New Japan guys, that's what I want to see. And it was that. I did want to point out Mox rocking the GCW hoodie and then the GC dub chants by the crowd. We talked when we were watching Dynamite earlier about how I see, news about GCW and whatever. I really want to start to get into trying to catch more of it or catch their pay-per-views or something. But Moxley just beat Matt Cardona for the GCW championship and now is going to face Nick Gage at their next big thing. And I'm like, man, Moxley versus Gage for the title. I want to see that shit.
Yeah, the Cardona match, I saw it after the fact. I didn't get the pay-per-view, unfortunately. 2 pay-per-views in 2 nights is tough.
Yeah.
Moxley was like a surprise contender. Like, he came out, he was covered in like all black and started kind of punching around and then ripped it off, and it was Moxley. Won the title, and then literally the next night it has another pay-per-view match. It's the guy outworks everyone.
Yeah, he's an animal. No, he's another one of those guys, and he's so fun to watch. Everything he does, he puts 100% into. He's great.
Yeah. And he just said today he's addicted to. I just saw something. He says he's addicted to fighting Nick Gage.
That's a dangerous fucking addiction,
Yeah,
buddy.
that's a bad addiction. That's a bad
Kick that
addiction.
shit. And then at the end of the Moxley and Kojima match, Minoru Suzuki comes out to a big, roarous, thunderous applause. And we got to see that tonight on Dynamite.
Yeah, which
Again,
I mean, not much that we could say about it. It was just a great match. It was quick. It was easy.
Yep.
It was just a nice, violent fight.
Yep.
What do you expect?
That's everything I always expect when I see Moxley putting on a rivalry with those New Japan guys, and it's good. It's a good thing. It's not bad.
For anyone, Moxley equals violence. That's just how it works.
Yeah, and whatever happened tonight with Suzuki's eye, I don't think. I think that was 100% real. I don't think that wasn't a blade job or anything. I think he really got cut up somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know where. I didn't see exactly what happened, but
I didn't see the gash either, but it seemed too like sudden and
bad.
unexpected.
It was a lot. It was a lot of blood.
Next on the card, Britt Baker and Chris Statlander.
I didn't like it.
Really?
Can I say that?
Yeah, you're allowed to say whatever you want.
I didn't like it. I don't think I like Chris Statlander. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It was a good match, really, but just felt lackluster.
Wasn't doing it for you? Man, I thought she had that great superplex off the top, that spider crab that she hit. I mean, I don't know, I like her. She's strong. She does some cool shit. Her and Britt kind of have different styles. I thought it was cool. I liked it.
I think it's just her persona that I don't like, because her as a wrestler, she's good. I just I put other people in her position, and I'm like, I would rather watch that. Like, I'd rather watch Penelope Cruz, or I'd rather watch the Bunny, or Chris Statlander is way more talented. I think, as far as wrestling goes, I think she's should have had that match. That should be her match. I'm not trying to take it away from her, but I just didn't feel it.
Nothing wrong with that.
It was one of two matches for the night that I didn't like all that much.
Ooh, I'll be interested to hear what the other one is, but I have a feeling we're going to get to it.
Yeah, it's not hard.
I'm scrolling down. I think I know where you're going, but I know which one it wasn't. It sure as hell wasn't the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks in a steel cage.
God. I
did not get as fucking excited for any match during that pay-per-view as I did that one. We were sitting there watching it. That was where I called the halfway point, because you told me that was probably about halfway through the pay-per-view. So that was the last match I watched last night before I picked up the rest of it today. And I was screaming and just jumping on the couch through the whole thing. It was better. I think I say a lot. It was everything I wanted it to be. It was so much more than I wanted it to be. I mean, It started right away. The Lucha Brothers had the live theme song, which they totally hit with, and I can't wait to talk about how it totally fucking missed with Jericho later on. They did it so good. It was so cool. It got me so fucking hyped. They had that Day of the Dead, whatever gear that they came out in that was cool. I mean, I always pretty much every wrestler gets some cool new gear for a pay-per-view, so that's always fun to see. But theirs was sweet. Not cool was whatever the fuck was on Nick Jackson's face. I have that noted here.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about, but
it was gone this week.
I keep saying that it was the NWO Hollywood Hogan, where he dyed his shit. It was the opposite of that. He went blonde instead of the black.
I think you're right, and it didn't work. Short.
Oh my god!
Brandon Cutler throws the bag over the top of the cage, and it's got that thumbtack shoe in it, and that got wild, and there's just blood everywhere, and Penta dives in front of Ray like Big Brother saving Little Brother thing, and they ripped the masks, which man, I was getting I was angry, I was excited, I was emotional, and then they kept starting to climb the cage, and I'm like, this is what I was talking about. I said it, in the episode when we were hyping up this match. I said, you're going to see some crazy shit off the top of the cage. And every time they climbed and came back down, I'm like, come on, get up there. I'm just getting, and then finally both of them just covered in blood. Ray gets up to the top of the cage, hits the huge crossbody, They hit the fear factor for the win. I mean, I literally was screaming. I'm like, let's
I lost
go!
it, dude.
And I'm Oh, I was so excited. I think that's when I texted you in all caps, and I was like, Lucha Brothers, holy shit! I was so excited.
I can't ever watch a pay-per-view again without you, Josh, because I was excited and instantly wanted to text you. And I was like, I can't text Josh. I can't do it. And it made me less excited. So
if there was one match that I would have hated for you to ruin, it was that one. Because that was my top of the night, far and away. Nothing even comes close. And then at the end, holy shit, man. If it did not make you emotional, Penta calls his family down to the ring and his daughter comes up crying and he's covered in blood. And I'm like, this is going to get me. I'm going to start crying. It was just, man. And, they walk away with the championships. It was just, holy shit. What a good, we could do an episode just on that match, break it down frame by frame. It was so good. I said it before, the Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers was probably my favorite match just in general watching AEW for the time that I have, even before we got to the cage and the titles on the line. It was so good. It was great. I screamed. I cried. I laughed, probably. Just sounds good.
So the one thing I want to ask you, and I don't know if this is on purpose, but with the shoe, those were the Travis Scott Jays. Travis Scott is Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack. Thumbtacks.
Whoa.
Instantly my head was there. I was like, is this a homage? Is this a homage to my boy?
Look at you. Easter egg hunting.
Oh, I was, dude. And I was like, that's gotta be. Why bring that pair of shoes out if that's not what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I have respect for sneakerheads. I would love to be one. I don't think I have the time or mental capacity, so I did not catch that little nod, but that's cool if that's the case, man. Yeah, I'm into that. Just a little tip of the hat to old Dude Love himself.
To old Dude Love, which is funny that right after you started talking about Dude Love on here, he does a lot of WrestleCons, and this year he was Dude Love at all of
them. No shit, that's so cool. I just saw the Lucha Brothers are coming here to Nashville for a meet and greet, and I said something to my wife about it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you gonna go?" And I'm like, I don't know if I'm there. Like, I feel like me going to a con to meet wrestlers is maybe like, this is almost like not my dirty little secret because we do a podcast, but you know what I mean? I'm not going around to everybody, and I don't know. It's not
we
shame.
We have to do it together. I got to do it with you.
Yeah, I'm just like, but now they won the championships, and I'm like, man, I might have to look into it. I don't know.
Yep, I would. I'd go.
Let's see. We talked about the Casino Battle Royale. So next we had Jericho versus MJF. And wow, I know you're waiting to talk about it. MJF with the Y2J troll entrance. That countdown started, and I literally out loud to myself, I'm like, Y2J, holy shit.
Oh,
and then
no.
Jericho's last match, and he walks out.
I went a different direction.
Uh-oh.
The final countdown is a Bryan Danielson thing.
Oh.
So when it started going, I was like, 0, final countdown, Bryan Danielson. What is happening? What are they going to do? Because the biggest rumor was that Andrade was going to fight Bryan Danielson. That there was a secret match. So hit 0, and I'm like, I'm literally standing up like this, ready to do the yes chant, and then MJF walks out.
Oh.
And I put my hands down, and I sat down, and I said, MJF, I love you, but fuck you.
That's great on 2 levels.
Mad. I was so mad. Yeah. And then when he showed up later, it was just like, okay, we're good, MJF. We're good.
We're okay. I thought it was just a great Y2J troll, which, I mean, no matter what it was
either one.
It was great. The rain of boos that came down him after that. Before we get into the match, is MJF, where does he rank on like all-time heels? Because I feel like it's pretty high, man.
Top 5 easily.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page there, because sometimes I feel like I say shit out of turn, and it's like, no, you just don't know what you're talking about. But he is so good.
So he reminds me of Y2J. Like the
Sure.
list. Like the list, when he was doing the list, that was MJF. It was MJF. He'd come out, he'd insult the crowd. That's the only reason I've tolerated this MJF versus Jericho, because I know MJF is like, I based my entire career off of you.
Yep.
Not he does it himself and does
Yeah.
not his entire career, but like a lot of his tactics were what Chris Jericho did his early days.
Nobody shit talks the crowd better. Tonight he's fucking talking shit to Pillman Jr.'s aunt or whatever, and then he's like, "Look at you, 16 and pregnant," and oh my god. I mean, we were cracking up watching
I
it
was
live.
dying.
He's so good.
Telling Pillman he should have been aborted. That was
Yeah.
oh
And all the other great wrestling prospects his mother swallowed. Oh man, it's we've said it
was
before.
great.
It's god level shit talk. So his intro and entrance hit great for exactly what it was supposed to do, which was piss you off.
Yeah.
Whose didn't hit great was Chris Jericho's. That
Oh
fucking
my God.
terrible. Like, I thought at some point the whole Judas, the whole song would break in.
Nope.
But it didn't, and it was so lame.
Not even like well played.
No, and the crowd was off with him, and you couldn't even, I don't know what was going on. You couldn't hear it half the time. It was all this like hand noise. I don't know, man. It wasn't totally missed for me. Didn't like it. Don't ever want it to happen again.
I half expected when I saw him playing the guitar, I was like, oh no. I said, we're about to have a full-on Fozzy
concert. That's exactly what I thought.
Chris Jericho's going to come out, start singing, and I don't want this. I don't want this at all.
No.
Please don't do that. And then it ended up being way worse than that. Just absolutely atrocious.
Full Fozzy concert would have been acceptable in comparison to what happened.
Yes.
It was a great match, actually. I don't have a lot to say about it because, I mean, we've seen it several times now, but it wasn't boring like I thought it would be. We saw some good moves out of Jericho. We saw, the usual MJF's things. He was going after Jericho's injured arm. He did the slow clap with Jericho's hand. That was a fun thing that I liked that he did. He countered that big Hurricane Rana off the top rope that Jericho's been hitting. And then at some point he hits that pin that Aubrey calls a 3, but Jericho gets his foot on the rope. That was an unexpected moment, and I'm pissed because Bleacher Report ruined it for me. And let me tell you why. Their app for the Fire Stick is dog shit, and it doesn't let you pause. When you pause, it pauses for a millisecond and starts playing again. So you can't pause. So you have to back out and go back into the pay-per-view, but it doesn't save your place.
Oh, no.
So then I have to look at the timestamp where I was and fast forward. And I fast forwarded to the end accidentally where all the Inner Circle guys were around Jericho and Judas is playing. And I'm like, well, fuck, what happened? Because I had paused it right before the foot on the rope thing.
Oh.
So then I backed it up and got to see it, and it was cool, but it didn't have the shock value that it would have had I not seen that. I'm upset. You'll be hearing from my lawyer, Bleacher Report.
Yeah, me too, because how are you going to make the biggest change to your platform 2 days before the biggest pay-per-view that you're ever going to have on your platform? Like, I downloaded Bleacher Report Live on everything.
Yep.
So I was ready for it. And then I go to buy it, and it's not there. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And they don't have an announcement. When you open it, it just crashes. The entire app just crashes. I'm like, oh, okay. So I had to do my own research and then find out, oh, it's just on Bleacher Report now. And it's not going live until Friday afternoon at some point.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that? And then Fight TV is like, hey, yeah, we're going to have it on ours in the United States because Bleacher Report's a damn dumbass company.
Yeah. I got emails that they were switching it over, but what a stupid time to do it. I mean, what purpose did it serve? I don't get it.
That's all right. We got Fight TV from now on, so we can do it there.
We'll have somebody from Bleacher Report on to defend themselves next week.
Yeah, next week.
I did like Jericho got his foot on the rope. Aubrey called the 3 count and called the match, and Excalibur like was like, this is bullshit. Like he was actually,
Yeah,
he sounded angry. It was great. It didn't sound,
it was a good little gimmick they did there, I think. Like
Yeah.
this is about to end his career. MJF's all excited. He just ended Jericho, and then nope.
Yeah. He gets in Aubrey's face and like shoves her, and Jericho pulls him into a surprise roll up, and he gets that close to getting it, but then he gets him in the walls and
Done.
And Jericho, you know what? I put down, there were a couple of unexpecteds. We talked about it. I really thought Jericho was gonna lose.
I did too.
It felt like that's what they were building towards. But
It felt like he was going to commentary. He was going on tour with Fozzy. He was doing his little thing. Now we're not going to see him for a few weeks, at least. He's on tour.
that's fine. They'll play it off as him rehabbing from all the shit he had to go through for over the last 8 weeks or whatever it's been now. So
Now what do you do with MJF?
I don't know. Give him a feud with somebody new.
Well, it seems like Pillman and Griff Garrison after tonight.
Yeah, we know that's coming after tonight. I doubt that's long term. I think that was more of a when in Rome, they were in Cincinnati. Moxley's already fighting with somebody kind of thing. We'll see. I'm curious to see who they pit him up against next.
Cincinnati, you're in Pillman's. 2 weeks from now, you're in Long Island with MJF. Why not?
Yeah.
They announced that match, didn't they, tonight? MJF versus Pillman in Long Island. Or in Queens.
Yeah.
Is it Queens or Long Island that they're fighting at?
I think Queens. Next on the All Out card, we had Punk versus Darby. The big return. CM Punk. I'm going to let you take it away. I'm sure you have a lot to say on this one.
I don't have a lot to say. It was okay.
Yeah, it was a slow starter. I wanted to wait and see what you said because I was watching it and I was a little underwhelmed. It got good by the end, but it took a while.
If they didn't build the match perfectly, the way they did it, with and this goes back to Garcia versus Darby Allin, if they didn't have that match would have been a total bust. Because CM Punk was on commentary and talking about how this was a scouting event and he was going to use a lot of holds.
You're right.
So I expected it to be a lot of holds. Had he not said that, those 3 words, there's going to be a lot of holds. Had he not said that, that would have been the biggest bust. That would have been the slowest match. But because of that phenomenal Darby Allin and Garcia match, this match was good. For that reason alone. At the end, the last 5 minutes of the match were just, doesn't matter what happens. This is great.
That was when it finally started to pick up some momentum. I agree. We had some good moments. Punk, literally threw Darby out of the corner, just straight through the corner, through the turnbuckles and out. That was a neat little thing. Punk bridging up off of that pin. I liked that. Instead of kicking out, he just crabbed right up. That was impressive. That was a cool little show of strength. Right into the GTS off of that. Darby hits the senton off the top rope onto the floor. That's just Darby doing Darby stuff, which I love to see. Darby hits this was when it started to get good, was Darby does the little go to sleep gesture, goes for the coffin drop, and Punk just sits up and watches him land behind him.
Yep. Does the little Undertaker. Does the little Undertaker move. My favorite thing was the little homage to Bret the Hitman Hart's return. I don't know if you remember that match when he came back. But the little shoulder throw into he slides kind of on his ass and does he does the exact same thing in the Punk Darby match. He does the exact same thing. Shoulder throw into the legs, or onto his ass, really. And, okay.
Okay. I'll have to look that up.
Long pants. Everything. That was it. That was, he was doing that match. That was the match he was looking up to.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Punk he was like a trunks guy before, wasn't he?
Yep. The briefs.
I was trying to figure out what looked weird when I was watching him, and I think that was it. It wasn't the image I had in my mind, but it was fine. By the end of it, it redeemed itself for me. It was a slow starter, but it's his first match back, so I get it. Let's slowly ramp it up, and
a good one. Honestly, I enjoyed it a lot, but okay was what I said, but it's It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
I didn't expect much more.
Handshake at the end, good little show of respect amongst him and Darby, because it's kind of a generational, thing there. That was cool. And then I loved, just at the end of it, you can tell even if it had its moments, but it wasn't the craziest match of his career. But Punk was so excited. I mean, at the end, he climbs up on the ropes and he's like, "I'm back, motherfuckers." He's talking to the crowd. That was great. It's exciting. I wrote down who is Punk's next rival. I'm excited to see where they take it. I'm not that excited that it's Team Taz, but we'll see how that plays out.
I think he's going to run through everybody, man. I think it's going to be Team Taz. You're going to have Hook. You're going to have Powerhouse. Then you're going to move on to Dark, whoever. I don't care. It's CM Punk's back, man. Have him fight whoever and everybody. I'm fine with it.
And his matches, I think, are they're going to ramp up. I think whether it was intentional or not, it's like you said. I mean, he called that for exactly what it was. It's going to be a lot of holds. It's kind of a prove it to himself match, show that he can still do it, and he showed that. He still got it. No two ways around that.
He's going to get his cockiness back, and he's just going to go out there and just fight from this point forward. He showed that he can still do it. He's just going to do it. I don't think we see another slow match. And he's always been kind of like a technical wrestler, so he does holds, he does different things, but not like that. That was a very slow match for him, and I'm excited to see what he does moving forward.
Next on the card, I have a feeling is where you landed on the other match that you didn't much care for, QT versus Uncle Paul.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be a pay-per-view match. If they would have done something with Billy Gunn, done something else, sure, but that's fine. Like, it was okay.
It was quick and dirty. I think it was what it needed to be, and here's my theory on that, because at first I thought, how in the fuck are you going to put CM Punk's debut before QT Marshall and Uncle Paul? Like, what? Come on. I didn't get it at all. But you know what? It was, I think, to frame the Punk and Darby thing on its own and let it stand on its own, not to be overshadowed by Kenny and Christian, and vice versa. They didn't want Punk and Darby to overshadow the big main event title match. So that was kind of like Punk and Darby. It's like you're at one of those restaurants where you get kind of like it's not quite your appetizer, but it's not your main entree. So like QT and Uncle Paul was the seltzer water in between, so your stomach. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. It's just, to me, just co-main event it.
Yeah.
Just co-main event it. Let it happen.
Yeah. I don't even have much to say about QT and Uncle Paul. It was what I wanted to see out of Paul White. It was just him being a dominant force. It was over fast. I did like him continually shushing the crowd just to smack the shit out of QT's chest. The chops were fun.
It was a fine match. Like, the match was good, but just could have been a Wednesday night for me.
How about when he kicked out and launched QT behind him through the ropes? That was the coolest.
That was funny. Oh, I was going to say, the one thing that I did like about the match is QT Marshall is good. Like, he is good at selling.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to see him do more. And I hope that's kind of where they're going with this, is to kind of prove himself, maybe. If you can make Paul White look like he's still a good wrestler, okay. Yeah, you've got what it takes. Let's give you some more. That was about the only thing that I got positive out of it.
I was thinking the same thing, was I do want to see more out of QT. I don't love the character and the way they've built it, and I get why they have. That's just part of the turning on Cody and this whole the factory thing that he's built and whatever. Another one is whatever direction they go with this eventually, and I know he's done some stuff on Dark and Elevation, is Nick Camarado is a fun guy. He's a heavy, he's a big dude. I would just like to see something happen with him going forward besides just being QT's muscle.
I agree.
Because he's got a good look. You know what I mean? He's got an intriguing look, and he wears that crazy trench coat with all the buckles and shit, and he's got the big hair and the big beard. I just think a big, powerful dude like him should be doing more than backing up QT, and I think QT could stand a little time on his own anyway.
I agree. I think seeing both of them in singles matchups would be great, honestly.
And that is all I have to say about that. Let's get to the main event. Kenny and Christian for the AEW World title.
Absolutely phenomenal match.
Didn't expect anything less of it. I liked the intros, Justin Roberts said, after dining at the Waffle House near the airport, weighing in at 218 pounds or whatever Kenny weighed in at. That was just a great, stupid little thing that somebody cooked up for him to say. But yeah, what a good match. I mean, instead of putting somebody through a table, I don't know if I've ever in my memory seen somebody get a table put on top of them and then had somebody like jump onto that table to smash it. That was so cool.
Yeah, a lot of tables. A lot of tables. Well, not a lot of table stuff, but 2 tables.
Yeah,
And that last one was bad.
yeah, that almost got ugly fast. I mean, I'm sure like that gash on his side didn't feel good, but I think be thankful that that's all it ended up, because I kept thinking when that thing was there, I'm like, that's in a bad spot for whatever they're going to do with it. It's just not positioned quite right.
Mm-hmm.
But
and it broke weird. It broke through where the support is, and it pounded him in the side there. I think that was a blood blister, dude. I don't even think it cut him. I think it
fuck.
just, which is worse. Yeah, just ugly. But good match, man. I mean,
oh yeah.
Once again, not a lot of different things happened. It was just 2 great wrestlers just going at it the entire time.
I don't know what did it for me, because we've talked, Kenny Omega is one of the best pro wrestlers of all time.
Yep.
This gimmick that he's running right now, you want him to get knocked down a peg. You want him to be humbled a little bit. But somehow through this match, I found myself starting to root for Kenny. I'm like, you know what?
I did.
I don't want Christian to take this. I'm like, Kenny's hitting those Snapdragons back to back, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, fuck him up. Take it. I don't know. He's got that allure. He's so fun to watch.
Kenny, to me, the same thing, 100%. I wanted Kenny to win. About halfway through, I was like, yeah, I want Kenny to win this.
Yeah, that's exactly when I felt it too. That's so funny. Some kind of shift in something.
I think what it was is seeing Kenny Omega destroy his opponent without help.
I bet you're right.
That was something we haven't seen in months. We haven't seen Kenny Omega have a fight by himself in months, where you're like, he could win this without interference.
Yeah, it was just it was 2 great wrestlers doing what great wrestlers do. That so many, like, they had that crazy run of like counters back and forth. It was like kill switch, one winged angel. So they were on the apron, and I wanted Kenny to hit that Snapdragon off the apron through the table so bad. I was so bummed when it didn't go that route, and then it turned into the super dangerous spear. Anyway, but like then Kenny did that like little ripcord into the V trigger. The V trigger is just brutal. I mean, there's not another move that I see and I'm like, oh fuck. It's just,
yeah, it looks like it connects hard every single time.
Yeah, he does it so well. And I mean that or that he does that thing where he runs into the corner and like jumps backward and hits the elbow. He's great. And you know what? I'm not at all mad that he retained.
No, I'm not either.
I want to see an attitude shift, but I'm happy that he won. Obviously, we're both there. I found myself rooting for him, and you know what? I was excited. He hit that big one-winged angel off the top rope to win it. It was just so cool.
That I was like, dude, I was standing. I knew it was coming. I was standing up, and I was like, oh no, he is going to do that. Everything he does looks so painful and real that it's just like, nope, I don't even want to watch this.
Yep. If that's Christian's first AEW loss, no better way to do it.
Nope.
I mean, what a great match. It was, yeah, I don't have anything else to say about it. It was great.
Yeah, the whole thing was just good, and that led into probably you know what? The 3rd most exciting thing to happen all night.
3rd most.
Which should it be? Lucha Bros is number 1.
Obviously. I wanted to see where you're going 1 and 2.
Kenny's number 2, I think.
Yep, sure.
Then we've already said Adam Cole came, so Adam Cole.
Yeah, what I liked was the yes chant started, because you felt they were building up towards somebody is coming out, and he's like, nobody can beat me, nobody, da da da. And then the yes chant start, and then the music starts, and you're like, oh shit, Adam Cole, wow, like that was not entirely expected. I mean, it was kind of in the back,
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
Then you're like, huh, holy shit, and then he comes in, and obviously they have all that Bullet Club history and this and that, and then they start hugging and they're all embracing after he super kicks Jungle Boy, and you're like, oh, okay, so it's just we're adding to the ranks of the elite. And some fresh blood in there is cool. I'm not mad about that at all. But then totally unexpectedly, well, not totally unexpectedly because it was sitting there somewhere, but did not expect Adam Cole to lead right into Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, right. I expected one, not both. That was my thing. As soon as Adam Cole came out, I looked at my friend. I was like, well, so much for Bryan Danielson.
Yep.
Like, I was like, so much for that. And then, oh, never mind, there he is. But when Adam Cole came out, I was pissed. Like, I was excited because it's Adam Cole, but I was like, they're gonna make Adam Cole be against the Elite? That doesn't make any sense. And then immediately they fixed it. Like, I was like, oh, okay, so now what?
Which was a cool way to do it too. I kind of like that.
100%.
How you're like, turning on his former friends here maybe, and then not at all, which adds to it. But Bryan came out and looked great. I mean, he looked fiery. He was hitting those kicks in the corner. His nipples were hard as rocks.
Hard as a rock, always.
Apparently, that's what we're learning after Dynamite tonight is that Bryan Danielson's nipples are always hard.
Oh man, that why use that graphic? Why use that graphic?
And we talked about it.
Nipples.
They shadowed his pecs weird, so it totally accentuates the nipples too. It doesn't hide it at all.
Welcome to the Nipple Podcast, Wrestling Nipples.
Yeah, Wrestling with Nipples. I am your host. Anyway. I had a joke there and I don't know where it was going. I was trying to work it out on the fly. So yeah, I mean, couple unexpecteds threw all out. We didn't expect Jericho to win, which he did. We didn't expect Kenny to win necessarily. Like, it really felt like they were building towards Christian, and he did. And then Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, unexpecteds. We would be remiss not to mention that on the buy-in after the match with HFO versus the Best Friends in Jurassic Express, that our boy is back. The Butcher, after several months, is here. I'm just excited that he's back, and maybe we're going to get to see that more consistently. I would just be beside myself if we did not at least bring that up before we got through All Out.
Yeah, if they did that on the pay-per-view, that would have been number one.
For sure. Doesn't matter what else happened. Then something big actually would have happened, and we would have something to talk about. But here we are.
Here we are, just an hour in.
At least an hour in, I think. I'm afraid to look at the timer. Let's run through tonight's Dynamite real quick, if you're okay with that. You got anything else you want to say about All Out before we move on?
No, it was just a perfect night. It left me thinking, what's next? Like, what do you follow up? How do you follow up with that? And they did it tonight. They did good.
Best pay-per-view that I've seen since I started watching AEW, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
First match of the night, Malachi Black versus Dustin Rhodes, which we thought we didn't need, but it was actually good.
Yeah, Dustin Rhodes can still wrestle. And I say that every time we get a Dustin Rhodes match. I go, why? We don't need another Dustin Rhodes match. We just don't. And every single time I'm like, yeah, Dustin Rhodes is good. He can still wrestle. But against Malachi Black, he can do that? He was holding his own.
Held his own right up until the end. Malachi hits the black mass and he's just blood dripping out of his mouth. That was a great visual. Great visual right at the end. After he brings out Cody's boot too, which made me start to think like, ooh, because I thought, we've been talking about how it's weird that Cody hasn't made his kind of comeback yet after what he said last, but I thought they were building towards that with the boot, which they are. I meant building towards it more immediately. I thought maybe he brings the boot out, something's going to happen, and we'll see Cody tonight. But we'll see Cody in a couple weeks, sounds like.
Definitely.
Punk and Team Taz, that developed tonight. We already kind of covered that. We'll see where that goes. Punk's got to fight somebody, so.
Yeah, might as well be Hook.
It was totally manufactured by Taz. I mean, it was totally he's like, you keep Team Taz's name out of your mouth. And he's like, I didn't say anything about Team Taz. Nobody did. Because nobody ever would. Dante Martin versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Speaking of Team Taz, we've already talked about how Dante Martin is great. But I think I think that's a cool matchup because like a heavy versus a high flyer like that, two very different non-complementary styles. It's not like when you're watching, just as an example, like the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks, like two styles that complement each other. It's you're watching two very different things come together. But I thought it was good. It was more enjoyable than I thought it would be. Dante does that sweet flip over hook on the apron onto the floor onto Hobbs. I mean, he's cool. He
is.
Deserves every bit of push and of credit that he gets because he is super fun to watch, and I can't wait to see where his career goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him back on cable. Like I watch a lot of Dark, and he's on there constantly, but like so good on TV. He reminds me so much of like young Rey Mysterio.
Oh, okay.
Back in the old days where Rey Mysterio was fighting bigger dudes and just not always winning, but like always showing up.
Yeah.
Just the high flying. I mean, anytime you bring up high flyers, Rey Mysterio's in the conversation.
Yep. That didn't even dawn on me until you said that, but that is a perfect comparison. I can't think of any better.
Yeah. I just good match. I mean, once again, it was one of those that I was like, if this wasn't Dante Martin, I probably would have no interest in watching it.
Yep.
But it kind of made me feel for Hobbs and kind of like him a little bit. He had to show a little more skill than what he normally has to do.
Yeah, he's normally just that heavy powerhouse, just gonna ragdoll you and do what he does thing. Totally. It was good.
Yeah.
Who even won, though? I don't have that written down after all this talk.
Hobbs did.
Did he?
Yeah.
Like I said, I had such a hard time keeping my head in it tonight because my brain is like, wow, more wrestling. Okay, cool. Sure, man. Nothing else crazy, really, tonight. Pinnacle over Dark Order, which was really just a stage for some of the Dark Order infighting that's going on. Anna Jay is kind of trying to save the day there. They were fighting, then they kind of came back, and then by the end of it, they were all going at each other again. We'll see. That's kind of just building up a good storyline, I think, is what that match was working towards.
I think so. They just had I was saying it kind of right beforehand. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. They just fought each other last night. Or last night, it's a taping, but I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why have them fight each other and then they're together today in this match?
And then they covered that right as you said that.
Immediately, some infighting. Anna Jay steps in, says she wouldn't want to hear any of it. We'll see where that leads. Hopefully, like I said, she becomes leader, or we get, a leader in there because they need it. That's a good faction, and I don't want to see it go away.
Yeah, I totally agree. I like them. I like their vibe. I like watching them wrestle. I agree. It's fun, because there's so many of them. It's a big faction. They're always. We'll see. Anyway, we'll see is the long and short of that. Adam Cole's in-ring debut is going to be Frankie Kazarian next week. I have no qualms with that. That's going to be fun. The Elite Hunter versus the New Meat in the Elite. New Meat. He's obviously been with those guys, but in AEW. And then Danielson versus who? He's beefing with Omega big time.
I think that'll be his first match. Omega.
That'll be great.
Either that or Omega will make him fight, somebody else and then fight him, but
work his way up to him kind of thing. Brandon Cutler. No.
Yeah, I don't know. Who do you have him fight? Bryan Danielson versus Adam Cole against maybe Luke Gallows, maybe Carl Anderson. Make him go through kind of like a trials and tribulations before you get there. Let him get his rank up.
I could get into that.
Yeah.
I could get into that idea, work his way through the Elite a little bit. Sure, and then he'll partner with somebody and take on the Bucks for fun. Maybe, I don't know. We could kick that around. I could have fun with that.
A CM Punk and Danielson versus the Young Bucks.
Did they ever tag in WWE or no?
No.
But they did in the Indies when they were coming up, right? They were. Didn't they do some stuff together?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. They always had like a little feud, like they always fought. So that's gonna happen for sure. I don't remember honestly if they've ever been together and doing stuff. I'm sure they have. Eventually, there's two big names. They were good friends. I just saw a weird picture of it was him, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, QT Marshall, and Tommy Dreamer, maybe.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was back like ECW days, and like they were all young kids, and it looked like they were at college, and it was very strange to see QT Marshall there.
Yeah, you wouldn't put him in that same bracket, like even age bracket necessarily. It just doesn't feel that way.
I kind of forget that QT Marshall like has had a career and he's had a long career, and that he does have like he does a lot of training, but I just forget those things. So it was a very weird picture. I got to see if I can drag it up and see if I get the names right, but it was a good picture to see.
That's funny. Moxley versus Suzuki was our main event on Dynamite, which we kind of already covered.
Yeah, we talked about it.
It's what you wanted to see. Moxley's hometown. Yeah. He's fighting the New Japan guys. It's going to be technical. It's going to be a little old school. It's just kind of going to be a slugfest, and it's not bad. It's good. It's what I wanted it to be. If you're a big New Japan guy, you're probably way more excited to see that than some of us that know what we know about New Japan, I think, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I know the big names that we see in AEW, and that's about it. I haven't watched a lot of New Japan in years, honestly. Like Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and those days I did, but even then wasn't a whole lot. So yeah, I think it was a good match for, like we said, what you expected.
For what it was. Can I end us with a joke?
Absolutely.
Can I end with a conversation that I had with my wife earlier that turned into a joke? So we were texting about something earlier today about I had to come home and do a bunch of stuff tonight. And she texted me and said, "You're doing your podcast tonight?" And I said, "Yep, it's Wednesday night. And you know what that means." And I said, "I hope you get that that's an AEW joke." And she goes, "I don't know, Raw?" And I was like, "What?" It was just this funny, like, totally disconnected with what I was saying. It was made me laugh. It was funny. Last night we were talking because, like I said, wrestling has overtaken our house this week, overtaken our lives, whether or not she wants it to. She said something total dig at either of us or anybody who listens to this podcast. Does anybody listen to this? I don't see the stats. How are we doing? Anyway, she said, "Did you purposely wait to get back into wrestling until after you got married?"
My wife has said similar things. She's like, "I don't remember you being this into wrestling when we got together." And I was like, "Well, I was. I just didn't tell you these things. Like,
yep.
Hey, we're dating. I really like wrestling."
Hey, by the way. Well, I'm good there. I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
I don't know how long we went. It's been a long one. This one's going to be days to edit.
That's okay. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for stopping in. Episode 5 coming your way. Like, subscribe. We're on YouTube now. A little easier for everybody. Just youtube.com/2forcegaming, right?
Yep. youtube.com/ I should probably look at that, but I think that's right. But anyway, check us out. You know, if you hit up any of our socials, anything, I mean, our links are everywhere. You know, it's all in our link tree, everything you could ever want. Our Twitch, our personal Twitches, all of our socials, our YouTube. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. If you're here, thanks for listening. Come see us on our live stream. Come hang out in Discord. Let's be friends.
Absolutely. You guys have a great night.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. Goodbye. Trapped everyone in there, and guys were trying to get in, and they're beating them off with kendo stick. They're not beating them off, guys. There's the episode's blooper, baby.